so first impressions. Okay, so what are your first impressions?
This is a very high quality tent. Let me see this thing. I'll give you a little tour of the inside. Comes with rechargeable glare camp lights. Sand-free blanket. Tent poles. And then the aluminum ladder. What do you think, Nicole?
I think that this is super comfortable, really easy to set up, high quality tent. I'm very happy with it. So super excited. Originally, I thought that this was too small for 2 people. And now we're laying in here and it's like we don't even have to be touching when we're sleeping. Like I thought we would have to be.
I mean, our sleeping bags are going to be right next to each other, but...
Yeah, but so what? And super plenty long enough.
I didn't think it was going to be long enough.
I'm super happy with this.
So we've got this cargo basket up here. And I think,
We'll probably do some lighting along the edges.
yeah.
I love it. So this is the locked out position?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
And the tent comes with 1 spare piston. So if any of these happen to break for whatever reason, it does come with a spare, and it also has the part number in case you need to order more. But it's just your traditional
So what is this
piston
here
you can
for?
get at a automotive store.
Oh, I guess to hold some things that can hold storage.
Gorgeous. Alrighty. Perfect. So we need to drill holes 21.5 inches from the center of this rack. And unfortunately, because of the rhino rack, it is 18 inches center to center from these channel grooves. 18 and... struggling over there? 18 and a quarter. And so these don't line up with the roof nest, which is an issue. So, unfortunately, we have to ruin this beautiful rhino rack platform.
Well, not ruin. We just have to customize.
You're right, I'm being dramatic. But it does pain me to drill through this thing. But the good news is it's aluminum, so it will not rust, even with taking off this nice black paint. So, the idea is we're going to drill
21.5.
4 holes, and this bracket will actually go underneath on the rhino rack when we put the roof nest up here. So let's get to work. Now we can say whatever we want to say because we're just going to put it on speed mode. Well, a year later, and I'm here to give you the review on the Roofnest. We have had some experience with some rooftop tents before, specifically Kukui brand. So all of our rooftop tents have folded outwards. We had the zip-in mud rooms, if you will. So a lot of setup, and I think that's part of the reason why we went with a hard shell rooftop tent. But overall, you saw the unboxing, you saw installing it. Pretty easy to put together in terms of pulling it out of the box and throwing it on whatever roof rack you have. In terms of how we like it, I mean, you saw the initial impressions. Definitely a high quality tent. But a year later, now I've got to give you a walk around on some of the things we love and some of the things we don't necessarily love. So, take a walk with me. Alright guys, after 1 year of use, I'm here to give you the full review of our Roofnest Sandpiper Rooftop Tent. I'll give you the goods, the bads, and the uglies from a year's worth of use. Alright, let's go. Give you a walk around, starting on the passenger side here. And this was our choice. These brackets are on both sides. But the first thing to point out is that the tent itself is not situated all the way on the platform. So you can see the tent is actually more narrow than our Rhino Rack Pioneer platform. And because of that, wouldn't necessarily be an issue, but because of that, we had to install these brackets for the ladder. So the brackets are drilled, these are just conduit brackets, drilled into the side of the Rhino Rack just so that we have access to be able to hang the ladder and climb up into the tent. The second thing to point out that we're not too thrilled about is how faded the entire tent has been. So if you see the Roofnest logo there, that thing's barely holding on for dear life. Significantly faded compared to when we unboxed it. We'll show you the back one here. So you can just see that's 1 year of use, and just that sticker is completely worn down. I know, or at least I think I saw on Roofnest they have a cover now, so had I known that from a year ago, probably would have requested a cover for the large chunk of change for this particular tent. But that's all three sides. You can see those stickers. Additionally, the same thing with the fading. Those bars on the Sandpiper specifically were nice and black when you saw when we unboxed, just by getting baked in the sun. And I'll see if I can get a closer look here, so you can see where the poles actually connect to the tent. That's just wasn't quality material in terms of being anodized or ready for the elements. There's some parts around the edges here that have been, I don't know if they were just adhesive was used for the rubber, but there's parts that have just fallen off. We have not been rough with this tent whatsoever, despite our name, pun intended. But you can see that some parts it's come down a little bit. Did want to point out this, so you can see where that bracket for the top part of the buckle sits. The underneath, for whatever reason, that material has just rusted. So we have had some rain, thinking this tent should be protected from the rain, but it must have gotten in that black seal and rusted right there. The last thing that I want to point out is, I'll show you the back one here. In terms of opening this tent, strongly recommend undoing the latches and then undoing the buckles or the straps and then being able to push it up. We had one incident where we had undid the buckles and then did not unlatch, where we pushed up one side, and what it did is put a lot of torque on the back end buckles, and you can see the 2 rivets here. Well, on this side we had to replace one of the rivets because it snapped when that happened. So definitely would have preferred some sturdier hardware to buckle this thing, but from what I can tell looking at the new Tepui hard shell, that these buckles are stronger. So undoing this strap here, it really is as easy as pushing up, and the hinges do, the pistons do everything themselves. It looks pretty cattywampus right now. And we'll go to the front, do the same. Oh, that would explain it. Voila! We're in business. Alright, there's the ladder set up, and you can see it hanging on the brackets we had to drill into the Rhino rack platform, as opposed to the brackets provided on the tent. But ladder is of nice quality, nice and sturdy. Alright, so nice thing about the inside of the tent, we've got the room or the ability to store our pillows and sleeping bags in here. We've got company. The cargo basket, since we had put some things in there, stretched out very, very quickly. So gonna have to look into getting another one, or actually probably make something more like canvas that doesn't stretch out. That will be a better storage option for up ahead. Pistons work great, as you saw, for extending the tent, and the mattress is very, very comfortable. Nice and soft, even without pillowcase. And I think below it there is that mesh, anti-condensation mesh. We like the material up top, but there's some parts where the seams are kind of showing, so could have been put together a little better where the pistons join, maybe over, because it looks like pistons were joined to the top, and then they put the material overhead. The last thing I have to say about this tent is I went with a hard shell, and I replaced I had a ruggedized Atana 3, Tepui Atana 3, and I don't know, I like overbuilding all of my stuff. I like strong, sturdy things, and based on their website, Roofnest says that the top of this thing is pretty sturdy, or the material for the actual shell is sturdy. It is pretty thin fiberglass. So I would have preferred a tent with the shell made of something like a pelican case material, not the fiberglass. But I also understand that the fiberglass cuts down on the weight. In terms of getting on top of it, like I used to do for the Tepui, in order to close everything up, tuck everything neatly, it's very flimsy up there, which I'm surprised, because this one actually has the roof rack. But that is a complaint about the overall sturdiness of the tent, if you will. In summary, we are pleased with our purchase of a Roofnest Roof-Top Tent.
The majority of the complaints are aesthetic in nature, like the stickers fading and the weatherproof stripping falling off in certain areas. But the bottom line is, the tent is super comfortable to sleep in. It sets up in seconds and tears down in just the same. Hopefully this video has been informative in nature, with unboxing, installation, and a review after 1 year's worth of use. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, Overlanders.